I met a gypsy.
Like, you've probably had a gnarly 2 years through COVID, because you had like this steady stream of income doing the Nitro tour. Like, your whole life is fully geared around traveling, and then you're essentially getting paid to travel, and then just like literally nothing, and you just had to spend like 2 years just figuring it out. And I feel like knowing you off, like, away from here, like, I feel like you went through a lot of shit and like had to, like, it was probably hard, but I'm sure you learned a lot about yourself, like, in those couple years, you know.
For sure, I couldn't agree more. I think that was probably one of the best things that did happen to me. Going at a high speed, I knew that I always, in the back of my mind, when I got to speed where I was having under 100 days at home a year, touring and living this rock star lifestyle, I knew it wasn't going to last forever, and I knew that I was going to have to learn to slow down again. I just didn't expect it to happen so fast.
Yeah.
And then, like, going from my injuries when I broke my femur and then shoulder reco, and then I tried to make a comeback the following year, and I was just still so, like, worn down from my injuries and not fully healed. And I thought I was, and I thought I could go back to how I used to be. And I got a rude shock of reality, and then COVID hit. So it was like I wasted those two last good. I felt like I missed out on those two last good years. What was left? And then for COVID to hit, it was like, whoa! There was like, I was just about to get my momentum back. And then COVID hit, but then it really, like, I will say that I didn't need it and I wanted to go, but I think it really did set me up more of just being more patient, just listening, and how your body, just slowing down so much more. And those years did suck and they were hard, but I did also surrender to them. Like, sometimes you can just keep charging and not cop it and just go, I'm going to keep looking for new opportunities in other areas and just keep going, and then get let down harder in the long run. I did kind of surrender to it at an earlier stage. It was really hard, and but I think it was the best thing I could have done, and it led me into, like, a lot more meditation and breath work. And I think it was more the fact of, like, you can sit there and sob of all the events that have happened, but it really made me just review and revision and just slow down. And then that opened up a lot more new doors for me. Coming out of that. And then also now leading into this high speed. So, like, let's say, like, for me this year, I did a one Nitro Circus tour, Australian tour at the start of the year, and it was like, sick rockstar lifestyle for like 5 weeks, and like touring and riding shows and sending gnarly tricks and partying again and doing it all, and it's like, it was just sick and it was fun. And then I was hoping that I was going to get on the USA tour. Like, when I was on the Oz tour, they were pumped with my efforts. I'm like, yeah, it's sweet. Like, as long as you guys have me on US tour, I'll be happy, and just, like, keep me on all the tours. That's all I want. And then the ticket sales were really bad. There was some problems with the visas that held up, and then they seen that the ticket sales weren't as good as they liked, and I did get dropped from the tour. A lot of other athletes did as well.
Yeah, well, like, Sheeny didn't even get over there, did he?
Well, Sheeny did.
Did he?
Sheeny got on, and I think Sheeny was, like, the only one out of all the Aussies that pretty much got promised a spot. When I say promised, like, yes, you're on. But there was so many of us, like myself, Jay Tui, Jed Milton, Ellie Chu. There was heaps of us that were meant to be on the tour that didn't. And then there's even Americans like Brendan Schmidt and a few others that didn't get on the tour. So it is very limited spots. And then everyone's trying to...
Because it's expensive to have you guys fly over, and then there's, like, all the visa process that you got to go through. Like, it just adds up, eh? A
lot of extra costs. Yeah, correct. And then they also need to take into evaluation who's going to make it through the whole tour.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes to fly in and out riders. But... it's an interesting topic, but so I had that tour, and then I find, like, doing really big gnarly stunts or whatever, I've always been a rider that when you go to an event, if I stay busy all year or doing shows all year, I kind of work better, because then dealing with nerves at big events around all your idols, around all, like, it takes a level of, like, professionalism, and then you don't just get plopped out of 2 months of being at home and then just put in that lifestyle, and it just all comes back to you. It is muscle memory, and same with nerves and everything. So to get plopped into a big moment, coming out of nothing, I think that was one of the more challenging things. And then what I learnt from it was like visualization, being current at the event, being present, and not getting nervous around certain people. And it's kind of like a puppy dog, like your dog.
Yeah.
They get to go for a walk. They haven't been for a walk in 2 days.
Yeah, they're just
and they run and they're pulling on the lead. They're going nuts.
Yeah.
So I see the same. Or if you take your dog for a walk every day, they're calm and they're used to it. And there's a tree, I'll have a sniff, and they're calm. Then look, there's Travis Strano, I'll have a talk to him. Yep, cool. So it's all smooth. And I noticed these patterns, how my dog reacted. I love flipping thoughts and flipping analogies, but with how you take them out on a day-to-day basis. So then I seen those patterns in myself when I got to events, and I'm like, so I need to be the dog that cannot get walked for a week and then still be good on my lead. So calm and be present in the interviews and not speed and just rush anyone, and just being present on all the conversations, and going with the speeds, and then it's listening to yourself. It's a relationship you have with yourself. Now, when you get put on you in front of these big ramps and it's go time and all the muscle memory's not there, it happens the same with all your fear, with your tricks, your stunts, what you're trying to do, and your mind plays every trick it wants to on you. But when you start listening to your thoughts and being aware, you can soak it in, talk to the thoughts, and then every bad thought that came into my head, I had a new method of like, every bad thought or every fear, or everything, it's your friend, it's your free awareness. Like it's a way of being focused, it's a way of tapping into being more focused than
like more in the present kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like imagine someone saying like, you're driving, and then the driving instructor says, oh, you didn't put your indicator on it. So if there's a fear or an insecurity, that's like the coach, the master saying, hey, there's a part that you need to look out for right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, just keep looking for the answers and using it and flipping it and finding it as fuel. And then I found all that really interesting. But
would you have learned, or like, would you have known that without this 2-year break though? Because I know that like you got into, I know like it was cool when you were hanging out a lot with Alex and Cooper. I feel like that was probably like a really good push in the right direction of like the meditation stuff. You got super into like breathing and ice bars when you were like around those boys. So I feel like all of those things you're talking about now kind of do come back to that, like that 2 years where you kind of just got forced to chill in a sense.
Yeah, exactly right. All these slower speeds and all these COVID years where it just felt so dull, felt like nothing was ever going to get moving again. That's exactly what it taught me. And then, like you said, with Cooper, and so like coming in, like during COVID, I met Cooper Chapman, Alex Hayes, like a few of them boys. It was actually a bit before, but I started really hanging out with them a lot more. And man, we'd go to their house and I'd stay there for a couple nights and we'd just be playing chess and just kind of doing meditation, ice bath. It was so new to me, but like, I hadn't had any friends or peers that had moved on those speeds before. And they were like the cool, they are the coolest guys ever. Like, so it was so cool for me to hang out with people, because I've always been like a bit of a go gnarly, like just doing physical all the time and never slowing down reading or anything.
Kind of like in an alpha channel sort of thing.
Yeah, and they made like playing a game of chess and reading was like so cool. And it was so refreshing. And it was also for me, like, oh, I don't have time for that or this. So I was always like that as a younger kid. So it really matured me a lot more and helped me process more and more stuff. And it was just all these gifts that were getting given to me in this downtime. And then it taught me the speeds, and then so when it came into the triple, everything happened really fast. Yeah, like all the speeds picked up really fast. But then I met all the promises I made to myself with the meditation, and every time I got like I'd be talking too much, I'd be like, oh, my breathing's out, I'm breathing too quick, I'm getting jutted, I feel like I don't have time to talk to anyone. I just go into a room and I do a 10-minute breathing exercise, like at the event over the weekend.
Yeah, sick.
and I'd fully reset. 10 minutes. I got a Wim Hof one. I always share it on my Instagram story. It's just like 30 breaths, and then you do a 1.5-minute breath hold.
Yeah.
And then you let your air out, half a second breath hold, another 30 reps, and then you do that 3 times over. But on those breath holds, you see how long you can hold it for, and in that time, like your hands go tingly, and you get the sickest head spins, natural highs through breath holds, and it's like being, you know, when you wake up on a new day from a sleep, it's like getting plopped back into the room for the day. And it's like, and you walk out and you feel like it's a new day, and you just dipped into the room for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.